It's good to be here today on the Children of Light broadcast. I didn't come to preach today, but the Lord has impressed it on my heart to talk about what's going on in the end time with ISIS and how all these things are fitting together concerning the end of the world, and just to give you some idea of how close we are. But before we get started today, I'm going to read here from the book of Matthew chapter 24, starting from the first verse. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Jesus answered and said, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another. I'm going to stop right there. You might say, well, what does that have to do with what's going on right now? Well, if you'll notice something, first of all, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There shall be earthquakes in diverse places. We've had more earthquakes in the last few years than I believe that's ever been recorded in history, and it just seems like one thing right after another is beginning to happen. If you read on in the Bible, and especially in the book of Daniel, where it talks about abomination, which I feel to be Obama because he has been an abomination to this country. And what do you mean? Well, Obama is probably, I think, the first president in our history that has called for the one world order, that has even went as far as to even attempt to change laws and times, which is one thing that it speaks of over in the book of Daniel, how that he would change laws and times. And so we see something here. So where does the Middle East and all the fighting with ISIS and all that come in? Well, the Lord kind of gave me a little bit of a revelation concerning that today, and I just wanted to kind of explain and talk to you about that. I don't believe, as a matter of fact, I know that we're not over there fighting for the reasons that our government has said that we're over there fighting for. So what are we fighting for? We're fighting to take full control of that country. And why? Well, first of all, the oil, and they got stuff that we want. How does ISIS fit into this? Even though the Bible does not mention the word ISIS, it kind of gives us little clues about what's going on. So let me explain something. Our president, a lot of people are asking themselves the question, even the news media right now, but I want you to look at this from a spiritual standpoint instead of a natural standpoint. Why is America not doing more to defeat ISIS? Well, it's a part of God's plan. If America is going to take over the world, and the Bible said over in the book of Revelation, I want you to keep this in mind, that in the world would wonder after the beast. Who's the beast? Well, right now it looks like it's pointing right at Obama. Okay? So, what is ISIS doing? Well, if you really stop and think about it from a spiritual standpoint, Obama is letting ISIS by because he's letting them kill all these people so that they can, it saves us money, first of all, okay? And so what he's doing, he's making the American people think that he is on our side with this, when he could be doing more. But see, what you got to understand is the Antichrist is slipping in slowly but surely. So what are you saying? What I'm saying is they're over there fighting, and really, we're using them to fight on our side. Okay? That way, it looks good on him, because everybody don't understand spiritual things. He's not over there trying to kill children. He's making excuses. Well, maybe there's not enough money, or whatever their excuse might be, to buy bullets to fight this country with, or whatever it is. But he's using them people to weaken the population, and as soon as ISIS gets into that country real good, then America is going to come in and fight. Why? So we can kill more innocent people, make it look like an accident, and that's how they're going to take over the Middle East, or Iraq and all these countries. I just heard on the news just a few days ago that South and North Korea, they were firing shots at each other. Friend, make no mistake about it. We're in a world war right now, and it's called World War III. Now, where does the Ebola come in, all right? There was a movie that kind of interested me the other day that I watched. Many of you might have seen it. It was Steven Seagal, and Paul said he uses the foolish and base things of this world to confound the wise. Well, it was about a disease that these people were spreading, okay, to kill people. And Steven Seagal was the one playing the good guy, I think it was, and he was trying to stop it. Well, see, it don't surprise me at all that maybe our government is doing the same thing, you know. And this is how these last day things are going to come to pass. Although the Bible does not speak of it happening that way to a lot of extents, but also God gave the Christians just enough of it to use their common sense on a lot of things that are going on right now. So we see how ISIS is playing into this thing, and you know, we see that there's other people on the border waiting to fire back at ISIS. They come on their side of the border, and America knows eventually this is going to start a world war, and this is Obama's way of slipping his way back through the cracks on the next presidency. Do you think he'll become a president again? Well, that is a good question, because that's something that I've prayed about, and I've not really got a genuine answer yet. But my personal opinion on that is that I do feel like that he will, because of the power. See, Clint Eastwood made a statement a while back that I think it was Clint Eastwood that made the statement that when is this country going to wake up to in so many words to realize that in so many words, I can't remember exactly how I said that America don't own this country anymore. Let me tell you something, friends. America has been sold out to the Muslim country, and that's the truth. That's the sad truth that hasn't came out yet. Okay? That's the sad truth that hasn't came out yet. But there's a lot of people waking up to that fact, that's beginning to realize that fact. But see, what the problem is, there's not enough Christian people in the world to fight it, because few there be that fight it. And if you'll notice something in the book of Matthew, it said when this gospel's preached into the world. Now, we got a lot of gospels being preached into the world. And then you got people saying that they're Christ. Not too long ago, the Pope had made the statement that Jesus wasn't coming back because it was taking him too long. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you that the Pope is thinking that he's God. And you know what? They're going to start working great miracles that are going to appear to be miracles of God and deceive many people and deceive the very elect, which you read in the dictionary, which means the very chosen. They can't deceive God's people. So we got the Pope over here saying that, God's waited too long to come back. Then you got Joel Osteen playing right into the Antichrist, saying that there's other ways to heaven besides going through Jesus Christ. Well, according to the Bible, Jesus said that I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way. He didn't say there were other ways. He said, I am the way. So then, you got all these things coming to pass. You got all these things coming into play. And you see all these things kind of tying together. You got ISIS over here fighting. You got Ebola viruses coming out. You've got viruses that even through their protective gear, undoubtedly, and how does that happen? When you have protective gear on, you're going to still get the virus. Undoubtedly, they done come up with something that will go right through that protective gear. I mean, just using a little common sense here to cause that. It's got to be seeping into it in one way or another. Or either they're putting it on that protective gear. Something ain't right with that picture. Friend, it's time that the world knows the truth, that we have a deceitful president in office, and that we have a man in office who does not care one bit about the American people. The worst president ever, as Daniel said, was the fourth king. So then, I just want you to kind of think about these things and realize what is really going on in the world today. The world is coming in. This war in Iraq, many people don't want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway, is the end time war. Okay? This is the beginning of World War III. How far into the tribulation are we? Well, I'll put it to you like this. We started pretty much the tribulation period when the World Trade Centers went down. That was God's sign to us that that America was going to fall. Ever since that time, America has been going downhill. You say, how do you say that? Well, think about it just for a minute. Bush had to do with the burning bush, which had to do with grace. But Obama came in, it had to do with Satan's powers taking over the world. So when Bush was in office, that was just a little bit of grace left for the world. But when Obama came into office, Daniel said it like this, and he would be an abomination. So what does abomination mean to you? Well, it means to me that this country's in trouble, that the world's in trouble. Because we have forgotten the morals of God, and that's why God is allowing all these things to happen right now, because America and the whole world has absolutely forgotten about God. So then, we see something great taking place. That's why Obama don't want boots on the ground over there. That's why he's taking this time, and I believe there will be boots on the ground at the last minute. That would be a perfect plan for him to get back in office and keep a war going. That's why they're saying, well, this war could go for many years. He's wanting this war to go. Friend, anybody can get up on TV with a solemn face, and you don't never know the truth about people except for two ways. That is, if you get to know that person personally, or if God showed you that person. If God showed you the heart of that person. So then, you think you know him, but you really don't. I mean, you don't know him unless you know that person personally, or unless God showed you that man's heart. But see, they can't deceive the elect, the children of God, because we got an unction from the Holy One that we know all things, because we got His Spirit. Paul said it plainly, without His Spirit, you're none of His. You know, and it makes me sick when people don't want to hear about the book of Revelation. Oh, we don't know the end time, but we are supposed to be preaching the end time. Although, yes, we're supposed to be occupying until He comes, but friend, we're so close to the end time right now that people need to know what is really happening. What is really going on? That's how close we are to the coming of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Right now, it's even nigh, even at the door. So, what are we going to do about it? Well, there'll be a few saints to rise up and try to take the kingdom, but they'll be quickly slaughtered, according to Daniel. Okay? But in the Ancient of Days, then we'll come back on white horses and we'll defile the enemy. What Jesus Christ Himself will fight for us. See, the problem is churches today and people today are too educated in their own minds, and they're looking at things from a natural standpoint, but they're not looking at things through the Spirit of God, through the spiritual things of God, which are clearly seen through the things which do appear. So what are we doing today? Now, my next point is what's going to really happen. Well, America, and I wish I could use the word I want to use, but really America is going to anger the whole world. Okay? In other words, they're going to anger the whole world, and they're going to make the world mad, and that's when the army is going to come in, which will be North Korea and them other countries, and come in to defeat America. Some of these countries are not going to bow to America like they think. See, there's so many things we could say right there in a little 15 minutes that I've got here ain't going to touch the surface. But I'm telling you, for those of you that have ears to hear, that want to hear the truth, this is what's really going on. We've got a deceitful leader in office, which is deceiving the whole world, and he is the one that's is wearing out the patience of the saints. I've never heard so many children of God that has gotten so mad at this man that even black people and white alike are speaking out against him, those who really have the love of God and don't see things for color, but see things for what they really are. And I've got about another minute left, so where does Jesse Jackson and Sharpton come in? Well, they're playing right into the end of the world because they're the devil's instigators. They're like his two little demons standing on each side of them trying to divide our nation. That's where they're playing. Everything's a race card now. That's the way the devil wants it. He's here to turn people against each other. So that's what it is. You got Obama, then you got his two little brothers, and you know they kind of look like brothers, standing right here together. You got one little demon over here and the other little, and you can look at the men through spiritual eyes and tell they're demons because they don't even look human. The Bible calls them beasts. Are you prejudiced, Brother Steve? No, I've got a lot of good friends which are black and white. I'm not prejudiced at all, but I'm telling you what I know, that them people are devils. Only the devil would try to start strife because God don't see people for color. So then, God bless you until next time. My name is Brother Stephen Whitlow. May God bless you.